All right, cool.
All right. So then that brings us to the question of the week.
Right.
So question of the week, I think I'm going to give you a little double header here. So let's get the first one and see how that goes. And maybe I'll add a double header. So question of the week, the question that everybody is asking. When I say everybody, we're getting this question in the blog, we're getting it in the Facebook group, getting it via email. People are curious. Everybody wants to know, Greg, 2020 is almost over and I'm not flying anywhere and I got this Amex airline fee credit. Like, am I just out of luck? I'm not going to fly anywhere now. I don't think I'm going to travel yet in 2021. Like, gift cards are dead. Like, what can I do? Is there any way to get any value out of this and be able to use it for more than just 2021, et cetera? Like, what's up with my airline fee credits? Everybody's asking.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, you could go to the airport and just buy a day pass into the lounge and just enjoy enjoy the lounge.
Enjoy sitting in the lounge. Right. As enjoyable as that sounds right now.
No, don't do that. So we've updated our resource page on that. And so, Nick mentioned earlier that click on our resources tab and find all these good resources. In this case, what we're talking about is the post that's Amex airline fee credits, what works. And so there are lots of things that work that get reimbursed by American Express when you spend these things on your card, even though they're not technically supposed to be reimbursed. So technically, the airline fee credit is supposed to reimburse things like lounge access, things like a seat assignment fee, I don't know, in-flight food, I think, things like that.
Yeah, Wi-Fi maybe, stuff like that.
And Wi-Fi if it's charged by the airline, but not if it's charged by GoGo or whatever. So, so the truth is, what works and what doesn't is very, very complicated because it varies tremendously by airline. There's very few things that work if you picked American Airlines as your selected airline. But there's lots of things that work with other airlines. And a common thing, like you'll find some airlines where if you buy a ticket that's less than a certain amount, it'll act like it's a fee. There are many where, in fact, I'd say most, where if you book a award and pay the award booking fees, those will count as an airline fee and get reimbursed. And that's more exciting than usual or than before because more airlines now are making those cancellations of awards and changes to awards free, especially when they're within the United States. And so there's just lots of little things like that you can do. And so, I would definitely just look at the chart. If you've already picked your selected airline, look for your selected airline and see what works for that one. If you haven't picked one yet, go through all of them and see which one has things that you could likely use. For example, let's say you have Southwest points and you see that award fees count with Southwest. Okay, so maybe book some trips for next year that you may or may not take that have award fees, and those will get reimbursed up to the max $200 or what have you that your card allows. And if you don't end up taking those flights, maybe you change them, make free changes to a flight you really want. If you do eventually cancel, now there are times where they might claw back your refund, but it's that doesn't always happen. And so,
and if you weren't going to use it anyway, then
you haven't really lost anything.
You haven't really lost anything,
exactly.
Right? You're going to let it expire, and then you haven't really lost anything if they claw it back.
Right,
so
right.
I haven't heard of widespread like Amex shutdowns over people.
Oh, no.
Got reimbursed for the wrong thing, and that's not your fault to get reimbursed for the wrong thing necessarily. I mean, it's Amex's system, so they have it set up to automatically reimburse you for whatever they do. So they may claw it back later if you cancel something, maybe, not always, maybe.
Right.
And if that's your worst case scenario, it's a lot better than just not trying and letting the credit expire.
Yeah.
So as well give something a shot. The other thing that other point I wanted to make on this is that people are often looking for recent data points, which is smart because things change. And so you want to know what's the latest, what's the most recent stuff. And so we made some updates to that post this week. We're making more updates because we got a whole bunch more data points from readers after we posted it. So more updates continuously happening. On the flip side, if there has not been an update, generally that's because that thing has not changed. If I see a data point on something that is different, then I am definitely going to update that right away.
Right.
Whereas if award fees work on Southwest, for instance, I'm not going to update that every single month with the latest data point. I mean, because it works. It still works. It hasn't stopped working. So if it stopped working, believe me, we would hear about it. People would say, oh my goodness, this was worked for years and years and it stopped working. And they'd be shouting it from the rooftops. And then at that point, we would very quickly update to make that clear. Just like we did when gift cards stopped working on a lot of airlines, obviously updated that right away because we don't want anybody making a mistake and charging something that doesn't work anymore. So you can generally trust that what you see in there is working is still working to the best of our knowledge. If it had changed, we would have changed it. So anyway, that's a point to keep in mind there. And like Greg said, you have to read through it, check it out, see a lot of different stuff with different airlines. Depends on which airline you have, but some of them can actually be pretty good. So you might have some good options there. All right, you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it at a single header. So
I'm off the hook.
You're off the hook. So